Staggies.
Hello and welcome to the Staggies View podcast. We are on season 4, episode 19. And guess what? We're back in person. I am very glad to be joined by Robbie Macdonald. How are you, mate?
Fantastic. Pleased to be back.
Yeah, great to be back in person. I really miss seeing you boys' beautiful faces in person. And as always, we are joined by Peter Mackay sitting across from me. How are you, mate?
Yeah, football aside, doing very well. Nice to be back in Glasgow, back to the hustle and bustle of city life, and back in the studio, most importantly, with you boys.
You hate Glasgow.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm missing the Highlands. I want to go home.
Yeah, getting a congested chest already from inhaling all the smog.
Terrible tap water as well.
It's rubbish.
I know.
Mate.
I need to get one of them filter things you pour the tap water in. Like, yeah.
And that's like, this morning I woke up, I was like just absolutely desperate for a glass of water. I was standing there for about 10 minutes waiting for it to actually get cold. It was like, I just go home and I put the tap on, it's like freezing instantly. It's amazing.
Benefit of being in person though. Good excuse not to have Liam Miller on the podcast.
Fantastic. That is true.
Always helps.
Yeah, we'll take that. We'll take that any day we can get it.
Back to audio only for time being.
For
anyway.
now, yeah. We might experiment with a few things.
We've got some plans.
Options to have in-person and video podcasts, but we'll probably put this up on YouTube anyway with just like a...
Yeah.
Might wait till we win a game.
Yeah, well, before we get on to the football, which we have to do, regrettably, we always have an icebreaker, and as you boys experienced, coming to the studio today, it is lashing rain out there.
Awful,
so,
man.
What is the worst weather you've had at a county game?
See, there's been many. Like, you get a few a season, and then you find yourself, like, questioning, could that have been the coldest game I've ever been to? I feel like that happens a good few times a season. I don't think I've had it this season, really.
There's not...
I think that it's not been... Because all the times the weather has been bad, the games have been called off.
Yeah.
So we've not really had, like, an absolute howler this year. So I don't know.
I'll kick it off with one that might not be the coldest, but it's one that sprung to mind. Do you remember when it was... I think it might have been Malky's first season when we were 1-0 down to Livy at home, and then Kane Ramsay got a last-minute equaliser.
Yeah.
Freezing.
Is that Kane Ramsay?
Yeah, Kane Ramsay.
It's one goal for the club.
Yeah.
And I think, it was belting down with snow as well, I think.
I think the season before, or a couple of seasons before that, we were playing Livy as well, and we scored a last-minute winner as well. It was Billy Mackay scored when Josh Mullen hammered it across the box, but it was so soggy that the ball just kind of stopped. Maybe it was St Johnstone.
I would say Johnstone.
And it was that wet, the ball just stopped at the box at Mackay's feet, and he was able to stab it home. But I remember having to move up a few rows that game because the rain was proper sideways. That was a good cold one.
There's been a few against Cali as well down there.
Oh yeah,
it's just the
Aberdeen
coldest
as
stadium
well.
ever.
Terrible,
Aberdeen's cold. I might play in Partick Thistle at home. I think it was a midweek. We lost 3-1, 3-0 down, and boys scored. I just remember half time, me and my dad leaving our seats and just cowering behind the stand, behind the east stand, just kind of a little bit of shelter for 15 minutes.
Another one that springs to mind for me was it was another midweeker. I think we were playing Hibs at home. We beat them 2-0. Ross Stewart scored a header.
Oh, that
was brilliant. He scored twice, did he?
Yeah, he scored 2 headers.
That game, a Hibs fan cycled all the way up from Edinburgh.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was it went. I think it went a little bit viral. Yeah. And he got to see Hibs lose. I think he got a free pie though.
That's fair play. But I remember it's one of those ones where you've got school the next day, and it was you're getting home late as it is, and you're lying in bed, and you're just that cold you can't sleep. Just feet absolutely freezing.
You're probably ill, probably full of the cold.
School one of those ones that you stand up from your seat after the game and you can't feel your feet. It's
There were so many games in school that I was so ill. and it was like my mum was like, "There's no way you're going to the football unless you go to school." So I would just like go to school, just be like a zombie all day, then put on 10 layers and go to the football, and just make yourself inevitably far more ill.
Aye, it's got to be done for the start.
Yeah, it's
think
worth
you
it
do
to
for
see us
county.
lose to Motherwell.
Exactly.
Did you give a game, Robbie?
Aye, part of county.
Part
mate.
of county, yeah. Okay.
Nice of you to be listening.
Yeah, I've got I'm an excellent host, I'll have you know. I'm really not.
Time will
Anyway, we've had some transfer news. So we did talk about Teddy Jenks on the last podcast 2 hours before he was announced. But
Thanks for
there
that
was-
one, Jack, by the way.
Yeah, but there was another one that came out of the blue no one knew about until it was announced. It was one Mr. Loick Ayina, centre back on loan from Huddersfield. Now, Dundee United had him on loan last season, and there were reports of him being good, talented, good on the ball, but maybe a little bit erratic. But so far, he's not been bad, has he, Pete?
Yeah, I've been really, really impressed. Obviously, came in for his debut against Celtic. Bit of a baptism of fire. I mean, obviously, he wasn't the only one that game, as we'll get on to. But yeah, I think even, obviously without talking too much about results themselves, I think he's been probably a standout of the past 2 games, you'd have to say. I think he looks pretty, as we've heard from Dundee United fans, we kind of saw it already in that 3-1 game when Jordan White scored the hat-trick. We know he was good on the ball. He was kind of driving out of defence, and again, looks really, really comfortable on the ball. He's strong, he's quick, and he's not really put a foot wrong so far, let's be honest. I think it's been, despite conceding goals, I think there's been other areas which have been looked more concerning in the centre of defence, which is saying quite a lot considering the amount of injuries we've had, and considering that him and Nightingale have never played together before. So I'm impressed so far. Yeah,
It's looked all right, Robbie.
Not a player who's played a lot of games. I think he was on loan at Boston United for a few. Don't know what level that is, but
I think that's
National League.
Vanarama National League.
National League guy, and then just 12 games at Dundee United last season. But I'd say so far he looks pretty steady. I wouldn't say no real cause for concern.
obviously
so far.
made his championship debut ahead of joining us as well, so they obviously see a bit in him to have the confidence to give him his debut at that level as well, considering he's, as he said, he's not really played that many games of senior football, but you can see there's a player there, and I think the athlete in him helps, like the fact he's so strong and quick. If he can utilise that to his best of ability, then he's going to be all right.
I think he's got an excellent football brain as well. You can see his reading of the game is really good. He knows when to step out with the ball, and also there's been a few times where an attacking player's had a few options and he's snuffed out which one that they're going to take. So you can tell he's quite a smart player.
He's definitely the most ball-played defender we've got at the club now. I think, even some of the stuff we saw last night, there's no way any of our other centre-halves would have the confidence to step into midfield and take it past 2 or 3, then pop the pass. It's like, I think it could be quite an important thing for us. It takes out sort of the slow nature of our passing. I think if he can jump in and be 2 or 3 steps ahead and get the pass done quicker because he knows he can beat his man, then I think it could be quite important. And I think it's quite an interesting point we should discuss later, in the fact that once our other injured centre halves come back into contention, is how do you balance that out? And I think we may be looking at a formation change again, but we'll discuss that later.
True. So there's one more. Apparently Derek Adams is looking at one more transfer, and since all of our loan slots are filled, you can have a maximum of 7, and we've got 7 at the club right now. It would mean it would be a permanent transfer.
Yeah, certainly interesting. I really didn't think that we were going to take anyone else in, to be honest, but I mean, Derek seems, from what he was saying in his interviews post Livingston, it sounds like it's kind of done and dusted.
It
just
seems
waiting to be
adamant.
announced.
He said the possibility of 2 was there. He said definitely one.
Definitely one. So
you like to think that means it's pretty near an agreement, but there's been no real links with anyone. The whole window, there's not been really any links with permanent transfers at all.
Well, I from the way I took his last press conference I was at a week ago yesterday, sorry, he kind of ruled out any permanent signings. I think maybe this is going to be a permanent signing, but only on a deal till the end of the season. because the way he kind of said he was looking at things was that he's got this big squad right now of like 25, 26. I mean, if you count boys out on loan, we've got even more than that, who are all tied down for not only
Future
until the end
seasons.
of this season, but another season or at least a season and a half. And he doesn't like that. We all know that Derek Adams is like a man who chops and changes his teams. And then the way he felt was that he didn't have any direction to change things if he brought in permanent players now on longer deals. So I can get where he's coming from and why they were all loans. So I think if we're going to get someone in on a permanent deal, it'll be permanent, but it's not going to be for long.
No, I don't think so. It's deadline day tomorrow, I believe.
Tomorrow night, yeah.
So should find out pretty soon.
So what do we want though? If we could pick and choose what we're going to sign, what do we think? Well, maybe what do we need or what do we want? Give me both. Maybe.
Player in each position would be quite decent. So
I reckon a winger and a right back.
I just don't trust our centre backs.
To be
at
honest
all.
with you, after the past couple of games, I think another centre mid.
Centre mid.
Because I was
A
looking
lot
at
of centre
the
mids,
option, but the options we've got really. I mean, you look
Let's
at
count them down.
look at the starting three last night was Jenks, King, Laturi, Sheaf on the bench. That's it.
Was that it? Who else we got? Who can play in midfield? Is that
Allardyce out injured.
Allardyce?
Is Keeler technically on centre?
You could
mid?
probably play there.
Yeah,
Dan
well, he's been playing
should
his
be a
ball.
central midfielder.
But like, when I look at those names there, after watching Jenks, I don't see anyone there who's a proper grafter and a proper ball-winning
There's a
midfielder.
lot of dross in this team, isn't there?
Aye.
I don't think there's anything wrong with Jenks' work rate.
I don't know. I wouldn't put him down as a proper ball-winning midfielder. To be honest with you.
I think he's been one of our better players these past two games.
I think he's steady-ish, but I just
He's
none
not
of
done
the
anything
midfielders we've
wrong
got right now.
necessarily,
None of the midfielders we've got that were playing yesterday, I think, are anything more spectacular than Jordan Tilson.
Or Kyle Turner.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly that. But I think
That's why I know I'm going back.
very,
I'm
like,
going back
Tilson,
here,
Cancola, just
and it's a bit of an irrelevant point, but I think it was a waste of a loan slot. Obviously, we don't know details of contract for Jordan Tilson. Did he even have a recall clause? Not sure, and we'll probably never know that. But I think instead of Teddy Jenks might come in and do really, really well, but I think the easier option would have been just don't bring Teddy Jenks to the club and recall Jordan Tilson, someone who's been there, done it, a bit of a cult hero. The fans like him, and someone who can just sit in and win the ball. I think that would have been a smarter option, just bring him back. Probably would have been a cheaper option as well, and could have meant we could have got a winger like Alex Lowry in.
I think you might be right, but I think Tilson is a player we all love, but sometimes his ball playing ability for a central midfielder was really questionable, I think.
yeah, that's true.
Aye, but we're not. It's not exactly like we're playing the most beautiful football, is it?
I mean, no, of course we're not. But are we
Like,
gonna-
I think he could do a job, but it's Jordan Tilson isn't like. When Malky started doing that weird thing when he was playing him kind of in front of another two midfielders, that was weird, and that made his ball playing look bad. But if you throw it back to when Jordan Tilson first came to the club, and he was genuinely just in the team to win the ball and pass it off to a teammate, there's no reason why he could not have come back and done that, and done it successfully. Because we've done it for seasons multiple times for us in the Premier League when we've been in a relegation battle. I just think it's stupid when someone who's probably closer to being club captain than he is to, like, you know, he's made like 111 appearances for county, and someone who he's probably, if you take our squad as a whole, he's probably the one who's renowned for work rate the most. I don't understand why like that would go amiss in
You're
terms
making
of
me
the eyes of the
emotional with
manager.
with the speech about
I
Tilly.
think Simon Murray might dispute your work rate.
Aye,
comment,
fair.
but-
That's a good. Yeah, it's probably them two though.
I
So I don't see, like, I just think he could have been so useful, and like he's experienced, and it's just annoying. I just think he's wasted out on loan. I think it's unfair.
just wonder what Alex Lowry was actually doing in Inverness. with
Yeah, I
his
know.
agent.
A strange guy if he just came up to Inverness for the crowd.
Poor boy,
Yeah.
I'm
Get some fresh air, that's what he was doing.
glass of
Right,
water.
so you two would bring in another central midfield player,
Aye, or a right back.
or a
Nah,
right back,
I'd
yeah.
say I would take another defender. Like,
Would ya?
Our defense
What, a
is
central
so bad,
defender?
man. Just a right back, centre
Right
back,
back.
just someone who could flip and kick
I
the
think
ball away.
if we lose James Brown now, we don't know how long Conor Randall's out for.
I think even if we have Brown and Randall, I think we're weak at right back.
None of our defence are good enough.
This is getting very dreary very quickly.
I know, we're not even start talking about results
It's tough to be positive when you're 6 games without a win.
True.
But
should we just start talking about the games? We can stall all we like. We have to talk about them at some point.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
fired on with the Celtic game.
So we played on Saturday. We played the champions Celtic at Parkhead, and it did not get off to a good start. Now, when this first goal went in, a minute in, were you like me, and did you think it was going to finish 10-0?
Yeah, I was just... Ramsay, me and you were there together, and it was just the most disgusting goal to concede. It's like, I actually think watching that ball trickle across the line took about 10 minutes, honestly. Like, it's just such sloppy defending. Just stupid ball across the box. Good block initially, to be fair, but then it's like, it just breaks and they get to it first. Yeah. It's like...
It's pretty unfortunate.
It's hard to say whose fault it is.
I don't think it's really anyone's fault. I just think it's like reactions as a whole. I think because it's so early in the game, I don't think we really bedded in. In that moment, Ramsay, you saw me, I was just head in hands like, why have I bought a £33 ticket to come here?
Yeah, I couldn't believe what I was seeing, and I don't know why, because we were playing against Celtic, but I think I turned to you with my hand over my mouth, like, I can't believe, like I knew we were going to lose, but I didn't think it was going to be this early.
Yeah.
But, it's an unfortunate start for us, and Robbie, you were at work, weren't you?
I was work, indeed.
Could you keep track of
I was planning to find a nice little store cupboard, don't tell my boss, to watch the game, but by the time I got there, 1-0 down. So I never actually saw the goal live. I just got that text from my dad being like, "This is a great start to the game." Open it up and we're 1-0 down. So I kind of assumed when he said that it would have been a sarcastic comment. But from that, I managed to watch the rest of the first half, and I thought we were all right.
Yeah. To the credit to the boys, they reacted very, very well to going a goal down. But there was a penalty incident, wasn't there? Simon Murray felled Callum McGregor in the box, and at that moment I was screaming for a dive, but on the replay it looks fairly conclusive.
I don't think I can have much complaints.
Yeah, Simon Murray was absolutely furious, as usual.
But he's furious when he scores a goal, so he's away a penalty, he's not going to be happy.
But there was a lot of talk before the game about Wickens keeping his place over Ross Laidlaw. And a lot of people, including myself, I tweeted out saying, "Oh yeah, I'm not happy about this." But he justified his inclusion in the team by first saving the penalty from Louis Palma, but it was called back for an encroachment by, I think, James Brown into the box. So it was retaken. Palma stepped up again, went to the same corner, probably an even better penalty, the second one. But Wickens gets right down, gets a really strong glove to it, and we stay just 1-0 down.
That was bizarre. The commentator, when I was watching it on the stream, the Celtic TV commentators were saying, like, it went to VAR and they were saying, "Oh, he's got the VAR for the keeper coming off his line." So then they zoom in on the keeper and he's clearly got his foot on the line. So I'm absolutely buzzing. And then they zoom out and there's just like about 3 county players ran straight in the box. Terrible. But Wickens held his nerve, called his bluff, saved it again. I think, like, you've got to give him credit for saving 2 penalties in a row, of course, but I think both penalties were pretty shocking.
Aye, the standard was poor. I think it's quite funny. I think when I was watching it back, and you see the sheer speed that James Brown gets to the ball for the first penalty save, I'm not surprised he approached the box. I think he was probably standing in it by the time he'd kicked it. Like, honestly, it's like he got to the ball so far ahead of their attacker. I was like, how's he done that? Obviously, then it got pulled
cheating,
back.
mate.
Yeah, he's so
he does in the box as well.
I think I was another one. I was thinking, I can't believe we've dropped Lost Laidlaw. This guy was chapping on the door of Steve Clark's Scotland side, and now he's sitting on the bench at Celtic Park against Ross County. Someone who's been a sheer, hero the past few seasons. You could single-handedly give him a few plaudits for being the reason that we're still a Premiership team over a number of seasons, I would say. And the fact he got dropped after a 3-0 loss to Partick Thistle, where our keeper didn't make a dive, I think was incredibly, incredibly harsh, and I'll still stand by that. However, credit to George Wickens. even aside from these penalty saves, really good performance. Shot stopping was really good. Yeah, although what I will say is I don't think Celtic had anything overly threatening. You know, they in themselves missed a good few chances. Yeah, they missed a couple of sitters, but you know, his shot stopping was solid. I wouldn't say he made any, you know, world class saves, but yeah, he's made some impression there, and it's going to be incredibly hard for Ross Laidlaw to gain back the gloves for the rest of the season, in my opinion, as sad as that is to say.
Yeah, Derek Adams loves his own signings, I think it's fair to say. So I think
he has to. If he can't throw them under the bus, can he?
Well, but we came close to scoring a goal of our own, didn't we, in the first half. Corner from, I think, Jan Danda comes in. Nightingale gets onto it on the edge of the 6-yard box, smashes it against the crossbar.
So close.
Gotta score that.
It's such a good delivery.
Gotta score such a good ball into the box.
Good to mention is that before this corner, we had a massive flurry of corners. We had maybe 4, 5, 6 corners in really quick succession, and the delivery was very good every time. You have to say, from Danda, was really on form against Celtic, and that one was genuinely centimetre perfect for Nightingale. And I don't know, you say he has to score. I don't know what much more he can do, to be honest.
Aye, keep his header a bit further down.
How'd you do that, though?
Jump higher.
He's not really.
Hit the ball down.
He's got about 4 boys marking.
It's a tough goal he can score, but
it was quite funny because
if there was nobody there, I'd say, he should have scored. But look at the state of that box.
Me and you were at the corner on the other end of the pitch, and we couldn't see a thing.
Oh, man.
Because, first of all, when it hit the bar, I didn't even see Nightingale. I thought it just gone straight to the bar from Danda's corner.
For some reason, I thought Ayina headed the ball, so I don't know where I saw that.
Yeah, it's quite hard to see things. It's such a massive stadium.
Yeah. And my eyes are shocking.
Hiding behind pillars.
So the boy... Oh, yeah. So the boys get in at half-time, and it's 1-0. We're pretty proud at that point, because if you go 1-0 down in the first minute, it's very, very difficult to get back. Mm-hmm. So at half-time, Pete, how hopeful were you?
I wasn't hopeful. I think I was happy that it was only 1-0. But you know what to expect from Celtic. You know, they'd had a poor half from their standards, and you'd kind of think that they were going to come out and really turn it on. That's what I expected. I never thought we would win the game at any point, really, let's be honest. I think the penalty save gave us a platform to maybe go and give us confidence to see what we could do. But I would just, to be honest, I just expected Celtic to be a lot better than they were in the first half.
Yeah, I think I had that classic misguided county optimism.
Yeah.
I thought it might give us a platform to go on and get a draw. Celtic, if we can just talk about them for a minute, were well below their expected standard. They actually did get booed at full time, but we'll talk about the end of the game later. But towards the end of it, we did have 2 fairly clear-cut chances. Josh Sims, who had come off the bench, put together some really, really good dribbling. I think he nutmegs David Turnbull, makes a run, squares it to Jordan White, who just can't get enough power on it. It goes into Joe Hart's arms.
Gotta take a touch from here.
So I'm gonna. This is now me entitling my Jordan White defence for the week, and so this week it's going to be a 2-part series. So this is part 1. So yeah, as you said, amazing run from Josh Sims. Where's that been the past 2.5 years? We'd just like to say, incredible stuff. Absolutely smokes 3 of them.
Still really slow as well. The defence. It's quite tricky, so he got away with it. But
decent square ball to White. Now, Ramsay, I think you'll agree with me on this. In person, this felt a lot worse, I would say. Now, I've watched this back, and I actually didn't realise how far out he was at the time. Yeah, he's in the box. However, I thought he was 6-yard box when he took this shot. However, it's quite a fast incident. You know, Jordan White is trying to keep up with the play for a start, and we all know he's not the quickest of guys. If you look at that when he strikes the ball there, he's only just entered the box, and to ask him to finish a side foot, 1 instant chance there, you know, I think realistically asking him to take a touch there, he's going to kill himself if he does that, because he's got 2 defenders approaching him hot-footed on the back. I think all he could do there was try and hit that first time. But the fact he's only just entered the box there, I think you struggle to finish a side foot shot from there.
His connection's just not good enough though.
But could
He's
you
got
argue?
I
that
think he's got to go the other side of the goal.
yeah,
To
you could
back
argue. Yeah,
across.
yeah.
He's to at least challenged the
Could have
goal.
definitely done better,
Yeah.
but I think it's a solid save, and I think
He got on target.
you could argue the quality of the pass. You could argue the pass should have been further in front of him. You could argue the pass could have been harder, so he didn't have to put as much power on
It
it.
kind of gets.
He's
I
further
think-
in
I
front,
think-
he's not catching up.
I think the sole blame should not be placed on Jordan White here, because as you agree with me, Ramsay, Jordan White got subbed on at this game in Celtic Park and he turned the tide. He absolutely flipped this game on its head.
I'm also going to go forward a little bit and say when he came on against Livingston, he changed the game for us as
Yeah,
well, but
he
we'll get
did.
on to that. And we'll see another good moment from Jord here. Ball comes in from Wickens. He gets an excellent knockdown. Josh Sims just falling over as he hits that over the bar.
That's worse for me.
That's
That's worse
that's
for
a
me.
tough one for me. He's off
No.
balance. It's under his foot, but he should be hitting the target. But
Get your body over the ball, man.
it's hard when half his body's falling on top of the other though. At the time I was screaming that he's got to be doing better, but he's stumbling. Like his foot, the way he lands from his jump, is not clean at all.
Could
Like,
he
he's
have-
not.
Could he have tried to smash it across the box, maybe?
No,
I think you got to go for goal.
I
there.
think I would have been the same.
yeah.
I would have definitely tried to shoot.
I think if
but,
he
like,
smashes it across the box and no one gets on it, I think you're even more female. I think he's off balance. You could argue that maybe his balance should be better, I guess, but just the way it's gone, he's already stumbling. He needs to just try and poke it towards goal. Getting it, not hitting the target from there is disappointing, but it's a tough goal to take.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does have to get that on target though.
You'd hope so, but that's a harder chance for me than Jordan White's.
No, I don't think so.
Don't agree.
I don't think so. It's
Jordan White's
so farther in from
stood
the
up.
start.
It's further in, but I just don't. Like, you can't. If he's already falling over, there's not. What
It's
can
a
he do?
tight angle.
Right, let's switch them round. Okay, would Josh Sims have finished that Jordan White chance?
Quite
Not
possibly,
a chance.
yeah.
Not a
Yeah,
chance. Would Jordan White have finished that Josh Sims
Probably
chance?
not.
100%.
Well,
Because
I
he's-
don't
because
know.
he's
I don't know if you can always. I don't know if you can ever say Jordan White would 100% finish a chance.
He's about 3 foot taller
I'm
than him, so he probably would have just headed it in. So yeah, he would have.
I'm not
From the ground.
That I'm not.
Case closed.
Okay, Pete.
Yeah, close the case, it's very much open.
I am on your side with Jordan White needs more praise, and Josh Sims should have finished that chance. But I don't think you can say that Jordan White would 100%
Aye,
finish.
Yes, he would. Mate, he scored 30 goals for the club. Of course he would have.
Like 4 years.
How many goals did Josh Sims score for the club?
Not the point. Jordan White has.
I didn't hear a valid answer there.
For as much as we
Can't
love
count
him,
that
Jordan,
high
I could cycle through my head loads of chances that Jordan White has missed over the years.
Jordan White's the top scorer for the
I
club.
think we
is
can't. Yeah, I think he doesn't deserve as much stick as he gets, but we can't just make him immune.
Well, if he didn't, let's put it this way: if he
There's
didn't,
no way Jordan White's scoring
If
that
he didn't-
if Jordan White's already falling over.
if he didn't enter the field of play, we probably wouldn't have got either of those chances.
No, literally,
So
yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm not.
White
There's
did
nothing,
well.
I wasn't disputing Jordan White at all. I was just saying it was quite a hard shot for Josh Sims.
yeah. Well, I just think Josh Sims has to do better.
Me too. I think we all do, apart from Robbie.
No, I think he could do better. I don't think he should have scored. I don't think it's a very tough chance to take. I'm sticking up for the boy. I don't think he could take blame for missing that.
I don't think White can take blame for missing the first one either.
All right, I don't think we're getting
I agreed
anywhere.
with you
Yeah. Well, why are we arguing then?
because you love an argument.
Is it time to move on? I think so.
I don't
So
want to talk about Livy though.
No, neither
yeah,
do I.
well, we've got a little while until we move on to that. Don't you worry. So we after the game 1-0 at Celtic Park. We're all feeling pretty good. We all say as long as we don't drop the level, we should be fine against Livingston.
Yep,
We'll get
those
onto
words
that
exactly
later.
came out of my mouth.
The
Yeah.
problem is that we always do drop the level, don't we?
You always have to
What it
raise.
is, we always-
First of all, you always have to raise your level at Celtic Park or Ibrox, otherwise you're going to get.
Should we chat about the 4 debutants?
We should. So we had Teddy Jenks, Loick Ayina,
Cameron
Eli
Borthwick
King.
Borthwick Jackson, and
Brandon Keller.
Keller.
King was sorry, yeah.
Yeah. So
Useless.
first of all, let's go front to back. Brandon Kella, I thought he's 18 years old. I thought he looked like a player with 150 senior appearances.
Yeah, very good performance. Looked tidy, looked nippy, did well getting forward into good areas. I was impressed.
I'd agree. First game, he looked didn't spectacular, but I don't think he put too much foot wrong. He looked like a player who wanted to put himself about. So I thought the midfield looked like that against Celtic. There was we had a good few times where we nicked the ball from Celtic in their half, which is quite often unheard of. Quite often it's just backs to the wall and defence. The midfield drops right back, but a few of the midfielders looked like they were quite keen to get a foot in.
Agreed. Speaking of midfielders, Teddy Jenks.
My answer's going to be fairly the same for all these, I think. Solid, good debut. Didn't do much wrong. Distances between the defence were good. Didn't do anything going forward, but you couldn't expect that against Celtic. Was alright.
Agreed.
Quite a high profile one, Cameron Borthwick-Jackson.
Yeah, I was really impressed with him on his debut against Celtic. I thought dealt with the threat of their wingers really, really well, which gave me some maybe unwielded confidence going into last night. However, yeah, can't take anything away from his debut. It was really good and it was showed glimpses that he could be important this season.
I think he looks... you know how much I like Reed and Harman, but I think he looks by far the best, like pure defender out of the three.
Yeah.
And
I think going off that first game, I think Borthwick Jackson looks a bit of a step up on the other left backs we've got, personally.
That's fine.
And Loick Ayina, we've talked about him before, pretty much the same as we
Really
said
good, yeah.
earlier. Robbie, any...
Nah, just agree. I think we've kind of touched on his performances already, but I think he looks hopefully better than what we've got consistently.
Agreed. So Derek Adams came out and offered praise to county players, which I think was much needed after that performance and after some of his previous comments.
Yeah, he had to come out and praise them. If he didn't, then I don't know how that would have gone down. But that's what I was alluding to earlier when I made that comment, was that to be fair to Adams, when he came out and has criticised the players before, he hadn't signed any of them. That it wasn't his squad. Yeah, of course he was picking the team in the shape and stuff like that, but necessarily he might not have wanted any of those players to actually be playing. But he's flipped that on his head now. Obviously he's brought 7 loans into the club and all 7 started against Celtic, which I think might be a new record. So yeah, and fair play to Derek Adams. The 7 he's brought in came in and made a good impression, a good performance against the champions. So if he was to come out and criticise them, then where'd you go from there? Because that's his squad, that's his team that's now playing. And if he's going to bring in another one, as we discussed, then we can probably expect to have all 8 of them starting, which I think is going to be interesting to say the least.
It's a very, very quick turnover. I remember before the January transfer window, we were asked, someone asked us a question on Twitter, do you think there'll be lots of changes in the transfer window? Oh my god. I think this is beyond, I think this is beyond what I imagined. Is it beyond what you guys imagined?
Nah, I don't know. I think I always kind of expected us to go a bit crazy with it because Adams loves doing that, but I didn't think they'd all be playing together. I thought they would come into the squad and slowly maybe certain individuals would work their way in, but the fact they've all arrived at the club and gone bang, right, yous are starting, that's taken me by surprise, because I think you've got to be honest when you're sitting here as a supporter, and to me it feels like the proper county core of the team has kind of been demolished. I think, when you look at that county core, obviously, yeah, of course, some of them underperformed this season, but you look at our starting lineup and there's no Conor Randall, Baldwin, Laidlaw, no White. It's like, poof, where's all this? Where have our consistent players and the ones who are really our fighters and our our players who really care for the badge, where have they all gone? And the fact they've all just been removed from the team is taking me back a bit.
The only longer serving players that have had a fair few starts under Andrews, I think Sims, Laturi, Danda, yep. White's played a bit.
He's not started much.
Even that, you're pushing long serving that. Like that's
the thing. They've only
maximum
long serving 2 years.
Half,
Well, we don't tend to. A couple of our size tends to.
But like under Malky, you thought that Randall was going to play every minute of the season.
True.
Randall seems to be a player that
on Saturday.
He was injured on Saturday.
Yeah.
Even
Still,
I don't think
Malky. I don't think Adams likes him.
I think there's something's definitely changed there with Conor Randall. Obviously, we're not going to just conjure up rumours, but I think, as you said, when Malky was in charge, he'd moved into that midfield role, and we've bigged him up on this podcast multiple times this season because of how good he was. And then I think there was a bit of a change, and he played the first games where we were playing well under Adams.
He did miss about 2 or 3 horrific setters.
But so did someone else. Last night, in my opinion, getting into those same areas, you can see similarities, I think. But for me, I think something definitely has changed. And again, I don't know, alluding back to stuff that we're sick of talking about, but like after the Dundee incident, he kind of fell out of the team, and he picked up an injury, but then came back into the team against Partick Thistle, started at right back. I actually thought he was doing alright considering the level of performance. I would have said he's one that I probably wouldn't have criticised too heavily in that first half, but was subbed off at half time. Whether that was through injury or tactical choice, we won't know, but there's definitely been a bucking trend since over the past few weeks in that he's not been around the place and he's not been in the teams. Hopefully it's if it is an injury, we didn't get an update on a Conor Randall injury last week from Derek Adams, so I have no idea what the situation is, but I'm praying it's not a bad one, because he is certainly someone who I think is captain material and would do anything to keep us in the league.
Agreed. I'm not really sure how much more I can add to that, but I think you're right in that Derek Adams has made a fair few changes to what we'd call the core of the team. But could you argue in Adams' defence that as much as we love that core of players like Randall, White, even Baldwin, even Laidlaw, even though he's been probably our best player, that was the core of a team that had Malky out of a job?
Or you could flip that on its head and look at it as, that's a team that have done their job to an extent over the past 2 seasons. The goal at this football club is to stay in the Premier League. 2 years ago we punched above our weight and got a top 6 finish and did it. I know it wasn't pretty, but we stayed in the league last season. I think, I see it. I definitely think there's an argument to be had there, but I think we've seen how good these guys can be playing together all in the same team in flashes. And I think we saw it when Adams first came in, when they were all still in the team. We beat Motherwell 3-0. We got 0-0 job with Kelly, beat St Mirren. There was no reason why they couldn't be in a team and do well. We've seen it under Malky and under Derek. So, I don't know. I think, you could be right. There's an argument to be had there, but it's not one that really lies with me.
Robbie, thoughts?
Yeah, I think Pete's made a pretty good point. I think the players, the fact that they did play well together in the couple games starting Adams' period does show that there's bound to be more than just performances. It mean that these players are not kind of looking at all.
Yeah.
Especially, I guess,
completely
you were saying Randall has got an injury, but he's not been playing the last few weeks. Jordan White, I do think there is I think Derek Adams does want to play with one up front, and if you've got one up front now, you're going to play Simon Murray because he's by far the best striker at the club. So I can more understand that. I think there is reasons for each of them. Like even Laidlaw, Wickens has looked decent, especially against Celtic. So it's hard to say he had to get Laidlaw should be started. I think there's different sides to it, but
definitely
you need to give that a couple of weeks to see how these players actually bed in them, so we get an idea of. I want to get more of an idea if the likes of Eli King, if we see him over a consistent month or so, is he better than Colin Randall in midfield? Because he easily could be. It's just we've probably not seen enough yet.
that's the thing. I think it's going to be interesting that, once, so to speak, if our form doesn't drastically pick up, then, how willing is Derek going to be to go back to these guys who he's taken out the team so hastily, and then again it begs the question of things like togetherness and, yeah, I don't know, it's a tough one because, how willing are they going to be to just go and play for him again after they were, taking out the team so easily for these loanee guys. And yeah, of course, these loanee guys are good at football. They're pros. They're coming through at big teams. But at the end of the day, some of these guys who've been taken out of the team, playing for this club's their livelihood. And I think that can go a long way in terms of a relegation battle.
Well said. The mood in this room is quite low. Should we talk about pre-Livy? Because we met up with some good people.
I think before we talk about pre-Livy, we should probably lower the mood even more, because a bit of news that came out the day before Livy was that Jan Danda had signed a pre-contract with Hearts.
I just kind of pushed that to the back of my head. Try not to.
We probably, as a county podcast, maybe need to talk about the fact that our best player is no longer going to be here come the end of the season.
I'm not starting.
I'll kick it off.
Cheers, Ramsay, because I don't want to.
So
I don't think I'm going to speak this whole time.
Okay, I think we knew that Jan Danda was not going to be a county player in season 2024-25. Let's face it.
Yeah, I think it was pretty nailed on that he wasn't going to be sticking around for much more of this.
This podcast is going to go out tonight or tomorrow, and Derek Adams has been pretty clear in saying that he's not going anywhere in this window. He actually ruffled a few feathers by saying that Hearts have no money.
What a legend, that.
Which has caused a hilarious reaction.
Is that true? No idea.
Definitely not. Definitely not.
There was what's the boy's name?
Joel Sked.
Joel Sked from A View from the Terrace came out and said today that Hearts actually did contact County regarding the possibility of signing Jan Danda on a permanent basis now, rather than waiting until the end of the season. And he said that County told them, Ross County refused to name a price, telling Hearts he wasn't for sale and that they wanted to keep him for the rest of the season. Which, if that's true, I'm pretty glad and pretty happy that County have said that. But it's quite funny that Adams has just come out and said, nah, Hearts have nothing.
I think we know, or we hope, that Jan Danda, he's not the type of player who's going to down tools. He's obviously been at the club since the start of last season. He's played so many minutes, put in so many good performances. I think the only question is, does the fact that he knows now what club he's going to be at next season and that he's signed that deal, does it change the dynamic for you? Only he is going to know that. It's up to him. I would be inclined to say no. I think he's going to give his all.
I think it depends whether he's accepted that it's going to be the end of the season or not. I think if Jan Danda right now is crying out for a move to Hearts, which he easily could be, if he's crying out to try and get to Hearts now, if what Joel Sked is true, if what Joel Sked has said is true, and Hearts have been approaching County, and County have been like, nah, it's not happening, I think that could probably have an impact on Danda if he's just wanted to get out the door now. But if he accepts that he's going to be here till the end of the season, he may as well try his best to try and get himself into this Hearts team, which is obviously a team that's going to be harder for him to secure a starting space in every week. He's going to need to perform the rest of the season.
What did you say at the start
there? How far back do you want to
go? Just to when Ramsay asked you what you think. Like
I said that it depends whether he accepts that he's going to be there at the end of the season.
Aye, okay, right. So
you're proper zone now.
I know.
The heartbreak is there for all to see.
So I agree with Ramsay. I think Jan Danda's far too professional to let this kind of thing get to him, and I don't see a reason why he would be sitting just now saying, I really want out. Yeah, right. Okay, we've discussed the rumours.
Could see a couple.
We've discussed the rumours of what's going on at the club. However, unless Adams has barefaced lied to me in the press conference when asked about Jan Dunda receiving the captain's armband and saying that, like he couldn't believe how happy Danda was, and that it was like he was so proud that he was getting to captain the club. That wouldn't really add up for me. I think Jan Danda, not only as a footballer but as a person as well, appreciates the platform he's been given, because he didn't have the nicest of endings at Swansea.
He was out with a club for ages.
Yeah, and he had a fallout there, and kind of fell out of favour through no fault of his own. And I think he's shown some of his best football since he's come to the club, and I think you would hope that Jan Danda kind of has a bit of a love for us now, and that he would want to do his all to keep us in this league. I think just keeping us in the league definitely wasn't what Danda was offered by Malky when he signed. He looked back to an interview he did with Sky Sports in North Keswick for some reason with Mark Benstead. He asked about why has he come to Ross County, and it was about pushing on from that top 6 finish we got, and it was about can we go one better. That was the project Danda was sold, and obviously it's gone completely south since then. Let's be honest, we were 20 minutes away from getting relegated last year, and we're not far off it this year. Not quite 20 minutes, more like 20 games off it. But so I don't know. I just think, it's a tough one. We don't know what Danda could be thinking, and even if he is sitting thinking that he wishes he moved, then I still don't think he's going to down tools. He's not that type of guy.
He knows he's the star player. He knows there's eyes on him.
He's a skipper now.
He has no reason to put any less effort. And looking at that against Livy last night, say whatever about the performance, I don't think there was any difference of effort.
From Jan personally?
From Jan.
No, I just think the performance was worse.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I wouldn't say Jan individually put in any less effort than other games this season.
Sorry to bring us on to that sombre note, Ramsay.
Yeah, I've honestly no idea how I let that slip my mind. Thank you, Robbie.
If we want to take a background, pre-Livingston.
Hey!
Highlight of my week.
Honestly, yeah. We met up with our good friends Liam Miller, Gordy Bryce, and your friend Will. Robbie?
Yep. Wan Sok, one of my Korean pals. Maybe, possibly the first ever Korean to be at a county game.
Potentially.
I would say definitely the first ever Korean to be at county away at Livingston.
100%. Yeah.
Poor boy, I think when he travelled over to Edinburgh to pay the best city in the world a visit. Got
Everest.
What?
Sorry.
Behave.
Okay,
Fortress.
that's getting censored.
The city of Fortress Rose.
Dingle.
Got a wee tour of Edinburgh, and enlightened him that he was going to be going to the greatest football game a man could imagine. So took him through to Livingston. But I thought, just to make sure that he does enjoy himself, because we know how kind of gets to go, why don't we entice him with hot flame buffet at the Livingston Designer Outlet? Ramsay, how good was that?
This was my first experience of this place. You can basically just take as much food as you want, and
of course,
all three
you could eat.
All three of us took advantage of that,
and we took the piss a bit.
That's what you got to do.
Yeah,
it's not the cheapest place in the world. It's not bad, but what was it, $18.99 for a meal?
I think we got our fair share.
When you're getting food for $18.99, you get your money's worth. Yeah. I think we very, very much did so.
Yeah, I think we filled our boots on multiple occasions.
Ramsay, talk us through some of the options that were on display for all to consume.
There was rice, ribs. There was like a whole.
Can't believe you started with rice. All the good stuff on offer. What
kind of asshole doesn't like rice?
Rice is alright, but I think in a buffet, I feel like that's taking up space that doesn't need to be taken up.
There was a whole roast section.
Unbelievable. Carvery that's where you go on an all-you-can-eat buffet.
There was Indian, Chinese. There was all kinds of sides and starters. There were chips, onion rings.
No, fajita chicken is. I haven't stopped thinking about that fajita chicken since I've stopped eating.
And after I thought I was tapped out, I was sitting there trying not to pop. there's like a bloody sushi section in the corner.
Oh, mate, when I came over with a plate of sushi, I just saw your face light up. Maybe the happiest I've ever seen Ramsay.
Well, it's
From like above his seat.
definitely happier than I was a few hours later.
Oh, gorgeous.
I'll say we'll say credit to Robbie Macdonald. Credit where credit's due. You had a big performance at the buffet. I think
As always, mate.
6 plates and a bowl. That's good going.
I got a wee bowl of fruit at the end just to make myself feel a bit better about myself. But how many plates did you get through? 4 or 5?
5, I think.
Decent performance, that.
Not bad.
That's brilliant. What a place. I would say pints are extortionate.
Yeah,
Well,
don't
see,
get pints,
sadly,
get like
but
I didn't have to.
because you were
experience
driving,
that.
you were all like the
rum and apple juice £3.20.
not bad.
For a
That
single.
that was lovely.
Decent.
Yeah, Robbie's had a fucking great performance here.
Thanks,
He's
mate.
introduced me to the buffet and introduced me to rum and apple juice.
What a start, eh?
Some man.
And do you know what's the best part about it all? Liam Miller picked up the tab. What a boy.
He did not. He'll be fuming.
I have finally sent him the money for
do
meeting
that
Wan
after
Soaks,
this
but he's
podcast.
not. He's not let up. He's not let up all morning.
Right.
Poor tight Liam Miller.
Well, to be fair, if I got a patch or a bill that size, I'd definitely be chasing the money as well.
Unfortunately, though, well, we should have, but we didn't just stay at the buffet all night, did we?
Yeah, we
Ramsay?
bloody should have.
Literally, we had to go to the Tony Macaroni Arena. Now,
It was convenient, to be fair.
Tony Macaroni, Tony Mac.
About a 3-minute walk was alright.
yeah, it was an unchanged lineup from the Celtic game.
Yeah.
When you saw that, what did you think?
Yeah, no complaints.
It was expected.
I think it kind of had to be the same, to be
Yeah,
honest.
there's no way they were gonna. Maybe I guess could have gone with 2 up front.
I was just
but
hoping we were
it
going to
was-
be a bit more expansive. I think we were a bit too expansive in the end.
Yeah, well, I was actually going to say not expansive enough, but we'll get on to that. So we took the lead. There was not real. We were on top in the first half. I think it's fair to say, ish.
Aye, just about.
It was a pretty. I would say the first half you could say it was pretty even. There wasn't. I would say we maybe had a couple of better chances, but like Wickens keeping it out from his goal line early on from the cross come shot. That was a bit of a. But on the whole, I would say yeah, we probably had slightly better the play, but neither team I would say really got going. Huh?
Yeah, I think I would still stand by the fact that I think we were on top. Livy did hit the bar from across.
Yeah.
But so Simon Murray put us 1-0 in front with a bloody incredible finish from it high into the goal from a tight angle.
Joke of a goal.
But the assistant ref immediately put his flag up, and it went to VAR.
It
and we
looked,
were-
from where I was standing, it looked miles off.
we were expecting this to be disallowed,
Yeah.
but it turns out VAR got it right, and about 5 minutes after it went to
It
VAR,
took
it got
ages.
given.
Really nice ball from Jan Danda.
Classic.
I hate how long VAR takes, but you kind of forgive them when they get the right decision in the end.
One absolute fucking baller.
It was a perfect
Great
ball.
Hearts player, eh?
So good. H-E-A-R-T-S.
However, a habit that we've cultivated is going a goal in front, which doesn't happen often, and
Pretty bad habit.
and
Not much of a habit.
and not knowing what to do and sitting back and bringing pressure onto ourselves. And obviously this came back to bite us in the arse a little bit. I think it was... Who was it that got the first goal for Livingston?
Scott Pittman.
Pittman,
No, it
yeah.
wasn't.
He gets in ahead of...
Was it not?
Yeah, I think it was. I think I heard
Definitely
the stadium
Pittman,
announcer,
mate.
yes,
That is Pittman.
Yep. And I think it's Guthrie who gets the header on. Ayina's just second to the ball.
Guthrie's so big, but there's just
Massive. They're all massive.
you
We
gotta,
literally called an episode of this "Big Long Limbs." And literally same again last night.
you gotta be tighter to them. Like there's not that many Livy players in the box there. There's a lot of county defenders, and surely you gotta be switched on enough to double up on those types of players.
I think
It's
it's
just soft, isn't it?
I think
like,
it's
So sad. We've talked up Ayina, but
it's more that
It's him who's marking Pittman and doesn't get near the
nips
ball.
ahead of him, and Wickens isn't out quick enough. But I think it's
it's just last thing. The way
It's poor.
I would describe our defense, I think the perfect word is just frail. I think we're
frail.
so
It's
frail at the
collectively
back.
frail as
I was
well.
gonna
It's
go-
not,
Yeah, that's what it's like as a whole. When we transition from attack to defence, we just turn into frailness. It's awful, and it's like we're just soft and frail and weak, and it's like we lose the ability to head and kick the football when they enter the box.
pretty scathing review.
The thing
But
is,
it's
right,
spot on. I think there's been Adams has made comments in the past. I'm not saying it's Adams' fault necessarily, but I think Adams has made comments in interviews. Sure, Malky probably did as well about individual errors and like players. We've had it in the past. The likes of Jay McKeevely would just always make a horrific error each game, but it's not really like the goals yesterday. You're not really pinning on one mistake.
No,
it's just
it's
everyone
collective.
looks shocking at the back.
Aye, yeah, it's quite baffling. I don't really understand though. This is the thing. I never get this in football, like, because it's such short succession. Like, how can you go from Saturday, one of the best defensive performances I've seen all year, defending against players who are earning like 50, 60,000 pounds a week and have been purchased for 20 odd million, and you manage to shut them out, and they don't score a goal. They scored a goal. It was a deflection though. But you can go from that. And then go to this when the team's the exact same and the personnel's the exact same. Is it because it's like the players raise their game for Celtic because they want to show themselves off in front of a big crowd? That is not glamour. There was about 500 folk there last night.
It was
on a shite Astro and a shite town and on a shite cold night. And maybe that's fair enough, but I don't think it's good enough.
I think right. Go ahead, Robbie.
There's different ways to look at it. There is that players do want to put themselves in the market. I don't know if that's the right phrase, but they want to put themselves in the limelight. You can do that by performing well against the big two, especially in Glasgow, and there's so many people there. There's also the fact that when you're defending for 90 minutes against Celtic, it's a lot easier for the defence to keep concentrated. The defence are having to. It's like you get it with goalkeepers all the time. Like if a goalkeeper's getting pounded all game, it can't be that much easier because he's getting more shots against him. But it's a lot easier for a keeper to keep focused when he's getting shots at him every 2 minutes than it is for the likes of Ederson at Man City, who concedes maybe 1 or 2 shots a game, to keep his focus all game and like all throughout that game, making sure that he's concentrated on the ball and ready to get called into action when it doesn't happen so much. There's maybe a bit of that with the defence yesterday. Ayina and Nightingale had more to do against Celtic, of course. But like, surely when you're playing Livingston, you can tighten up a wee bit.
Well, I think it's exactly what we were all afraid of. We were saying if we play like that against Livingston, then we'll be fine. But there is that big but next to it, because we all know, we've all seen decent performances against the old firm that county teams have had. It's happened for years. Then we'll just, if we don't drop off, and we unfortunately always seem to. And I don't think this is just a county thing. I think this is just a Scottish team thing. I think, let's face it, whether you think it's good enough or not, I think every team has to raise it against the big two and just maybe doesn't quite know how to deal with it.
I would rather we raced against Livy and got a win.
Me
It's
too,
just,
me too.
It's a mentality issue. We've seen it with plenty of individual players over the past.
Right. I don't want to harp on, but this takes me back to what I was saying about earlier about loan players and players who are playing for their livelihood. Flip on its head if you included the likes, that Ross County core I was talking about. Would they have been, would you think they would have been as guilty as dropping their levels to match Livy?
We always drop our levels. And I'm not even talking about effort here. I'm just talking about, I think it's a focus thing.
I don't know. I don't know if it is. Like,
even out of possession, in possession, I think it's a focus thing.
I mean, look at last night. Livingston had scored 13 goals in 22 games before last night. That's 9 games they failed to score a goal in the Scottish Premiership. They've also conceded the most goals in the league. Before last night, they'd conceded 36 goals in 22 games. They've won 2 matches all season. They've drawn 7, lost 14. They've lost 4 more games than us.
Oh,
this
they were
season.
unlucky not to win as well. Is
I know.
The thing.
I know. That is how. And I think, some people might look at this and go, yeah, Livingston, tough place to go. 100%. Of course it's a tough place to go. Look at the surface you're playing on. However, that has got to be one of the worst runs of form that I've ever seen in the top flight this early on in a season. And I think to go there and be so lacklustre is just so disheartening as a fan.
It was so bad to watch. If we want to continue on, let's face it, when Murray scored his second, there's no sugarcoating it. We were robbing the lead.
Oh, 100%.
I think it was it Andrew Shinnie who had that chance?
No, right before it was Bruce Anderson, no?
Bruce Anderson. Anderson missed a sitter. Shocking miss. We were robbing. Livy should have put the game to bed by here.
They had a good couple of Penrice in the first half.
Bradley
missed
as well.
a sitter.
Stephen Bradley as well.
Yeah, there's a good shoot. We had a decent couple of chances as well, but nothing to the level they were having.
No.
If we're playing a team the likes of Hearts at that level, then they're punishing us a lot more than that.
But this is what I don't get. You could say it to a lesser extent from the Edinburgh teams. Where's the performance we showed against level performance we showed against Hearts?
I know.
And this is an area. Jordan White found himself somehow getting a bit of stick last night.
Missed from 2 yards out.
The goalkeeper's got
I'm
that covered
joking.
every
The
day.
keeper was a foot away. There's no way Jordan White should be
Yeah.
getting much stick for that.
This is welcome to part 2 of Jordan White.
I'm gonna
The defence.
I'm gonna kick this one off. What Jordan
Highlight
White
of the podcast.
What Jordan White does for Murray's second goal is nothing short of genius, in my opinion.
Yeah, again, Ramsay, you mentioned it earlier, but this is another game. Jordan White gets subbed on for Victor Laturi, and we go to a 4-4-2, and the game changes. Jordan White comes on, and instantly we have an out ball. Instantly, we don't have to try and play as many passes through the midfield. We can quickly turn to attack and get the ball to White. And I've lost count last night how many times Jordan White successfully held up and trapped the ball and passed it off successfully. And it's basics like that go so unnoticed, and that can lead to you winning the game. And as you alluded to there, Ramsay, it should have probably won us the game for that moment of play he had leading up to the Simon Murray goal. I just think, obviously we're going to get on to talking about our upcoming games, but I think Jordan White has just been so influential coming off the bench that he has to start the next game.
I agree. I think there's a conversation who I think all of us in here are going to say he comes in for. I think we're probably all going to say Victor Laturi.
Well, I'm going to table something completely different. So.
Right, okay. I just want to say on Laturi, and I know no one brought it up. No one brought Laturi up. There's a trend I don't like where, Laturi's not been great, but I think always County have some kind of scapegoat. I think it's been Jordan White, it's been players like Martin Woods. I want to say that Laturi's not been great, but I heard something last night that really didn't agree with me. Someone said, you can tell Laturi's not got confidence, and then 5 minutes later that same person said, that Laturi thinks he's so much better than he is. I think going on one player, I think, is not really is obviously not the answer. It's just something I wanted to say.
Yeah, I don't know.
That was completely unprompted, just something I wanted to talk about.
I don't know if I see what you're saying, but I think there's players, like you said, who've had worse stick than Laturi.
I know, but yeah.
I don't know. Let's just not bother.
We'll come on to the second Simon Murray goal.
It was a good goal, to be fair. Livy before that, I think it was like 2 minutes before that. That is an absolute shocker from Bruce
What actually
Anderson.
worries me though is, having watched the highlights back now, Daniel Mackay got so much of the ball in that right wing.
He absolutely tore
Both chances of the trip. I know we gave him credit before, and I was saying he looked a step up from Harman and Reid, but
can I say something?
like to think
I've mentioned this multiple times last night. Cameron Borthwick Jackson, I've been impressed. Apart from that 10-minute spell where he got absolutely bloody ripped to pieces by that Invernessian idiot Dan Mackay. He does this thing where he gets the ball when we're in possession, trying to transition into attack, and he does this thing where he gets the ball and he kind of like goes to pass it and half fakes it and delays it by like half a second, and he's done it so many times and it's never worked, and it really does my head in, because that half a second is so crucial, because by the time that half a second has passed, the person who was making the forward run has now been tracked. And it's like we just end up passing the ball backwards, or he ends up trying to do the same pass and it gets intercepted. And it's so annoying. And I by no means am a professional footballer. However, I would just like to say, get the pass done, get the ball down early, get it trapped, and let's move on. We're not a good footballing side. Let's just do our passes simply and try and get the ball in the opposition box.
You heard the man, Cameron. Sort it out. But as I was saying about Jordan White,
Can we talk about first? What is Nightingale doing there? Nightingale takes the ball and just runs. I always think he's
Loick Ayina.
I mean, he gets a bit lucky considering it comes off about 3 Livy players en route. But
Sims goes down the right, puts a cross into the box. White has the foresight to leave it, which is genius. I think that was a great move by White.
He's so magic.
He is. He wears a magic hat.
I heard he's got a magic hat. I heard he used to play for Cali and said, fuck that.
Off the grapevine.
So bad.
Do you want to just sing it now?
No.
But yeah,
talk about Simon Murray.
Murray gets out of the back stick. Great finish. And goes right up to the Livy support, who had been
bit silly.
giving him abuse all night. It was a deserved celebration. If we could hold on to the fucking lead.
It's a cracking finish, that again, isn't it? Not as good as the first one, mind you, but just powered into the bottom left. Superb. What a player.
He goes up and touches the ear to the Livy support and celebrates in front of them, which in
some man,
hindsight, he is. I actually love him so much. He's another one who I think might break our heart at the end of the season because he is out of contract.
Yeah. You're not wrong.
However, you think we'd have learned from sitting back in the first half. We didn't look like we knew what to do after going ahead.
Honestly.
I think this is even more egregious than the first one, thinking about it. What are we doing? There's a man on the line.
That's another one.
How did that go in? How's the keeper or the defender not got that?
Okay, right. Full disclosure. We are watching the highlights of the game, and I know Robbie said not to say we're watching the highlights because you, you as listeners, you can't see it. It just doesn't make sense. But this is the first time I've seen this goal since I saw it live last night, and I have to say that because I am flabbergasted.
I don't understand how that's gone over.
First of all, it takes a bounce. There's a cross in. Mackay is on the penalty, like more or less.
What's Wickens doing, man?
I think it's Borthwick, Jackson, and Wickens on the line. How does this go in the back of the net?
Not a fan of Dander's movement there, I can't lie.
What's
Where is he?
Where he's just kind of...
Well, he's got no one in front
walking.
of him, does
He has to be the out ball.
Chiefs man.
There's 3 men on...
I understand the Chiefs.
Empty in the box. And
I understand the Chiefs there. Not Dander's.
Okay, we're out. We're 2-1 up in the last minute, and we're outnumbered in our own box.
Realistically, what's Dander going to do in the box?
Kick the ball. But surely
Okay,
when you're 2-1 down, trying to
no.
protect the lead, you get yourself
Okay,
back.
looking at the men in the box, I actually agree with Robbie. There's too many. The back 4 is really flat. Borthwick Jackson's got Nublé. So
it's really talking in the box there because the man.
Where's Jenks?
Your man at the right is trying to block the ball. Jenks is the one there. Jenks is trying to block the cross. So you've got 3 defenders in the box and 4 Livingston attackers when you're 2-1 up and 2 minutes to go. It's a disgrace.
So we're just kind of talking about it. You can't see it. Let me just describe it. So we've got Ayina, Nightingale, and Borthwick Jackson on the edge of the 6-yard box. There's Anderson on the penalty spot. There's someone here, I don't know who that is. There's Nublé in between Nightingale and Borthwick Jackson, and Mackay's unmarked, more or less on the penalty spot. As the ball comes in, Borthwick Jackson makes a run back to get it onto the line. Wickens is out of position.
Why is he over there?
He tries to move over to compensate from being over at the cross, and it's It's a weak header
Danda's
towards the middle.
finally
of the
just
goal.
about
It's
in the
not-
box and the ball's
it's-
in the net.
It's not even a good header from Mackay. It's just it's straight. It's not
Not
like
like right in the corner.
it's just,
like
yeah. He didn't even
It's
head
a
it down. He just heads it
complete lack
straight.
of effort and desire
Just
there.
heads it straight at the goal, and somehow it just goes through Borthwick Jackson and Wickens.
Wait, I just realised since Danda is on the pitch, someone said something about Sheaf wasn't actually on the pitch by this point because Sheaf came on for Danda.
What do you mean?
Well, because someone said
yeah.
something about
yeah.
Sheaf.
I don't know who that was.
As you can tell,
Yeah, it must have been Eli King.
as you can tell by the way we're speaking, this game is very, very fresh in our.
But hang on, it was whoever it was. There's two midfielders
not good
miles
enough,
away,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
we're outnumbered in our own box when we're 2-1 up in the last minute. It's a disgrace.
Yeah, agreed.
Well, who are we playing next?
St Johnston Football Club. Who?
Wow! Whoa! Good, bad, ugly.
Oh wow.
Good. Right, can I start, please? Please,
Sounds
good
okay.
buffet. Thank you.
Good buffet.
I can't say the same thing twice.
Oh, good chicken fajita at the buffet.
Okay. Ramsay?
My ability to use chopsticks perfectly.
Fair.
Fair.
I'm not just such a fart.
Simon Murray scored.
I don't know what a chopstick is. I'm from Fort Road.
Simon Murray scored 2 goals and 7 cattle looking. That's how good that buffet
That's how
was.
good the movie was.
Bad. Oh my god.
Bad. Bad. The atmosphere at Celtic Park, overrated.
Yeah. To be
Agree
fair.
with that.
Yeah.
I would very much agree with that. Bad. Just the sheer abuse Simon Murray was getting from Livingston fans.
Yeah,
No
what?
idea what he's done to them.
Nah.
Has he played? He never played for them, did he?
Nah.
Play for the rivals.
Who's
They don't have a
they
rival.
don't have a
Yeah, we
rival.
were speaking about this last night. Do Livy have a rival?
I've thought about this. Is it Falkirk?
Nah. Falkirk's
Falkirk.
rivals are Dunfermline.
Tim and then Dunfermline and Wraith's a bigger rivalry.
Aye. But they're all like rivals. 3 of them are rivals. Kind of thing.
Yeah, we don't have a rival anymore, do we?
No. Bucky Thistle.
Uh,
Bad.
bad. Aye, I would say that. The abuse of Jordan White, harsh.
The abuse of Jordan White.
Well, that bad for our own fans, to be fair. But
Aye.
the abuse of Simon Money from Livingston.
Fair.
Sorry, but
Ramsay.
I am gonna say. Now that I've seen it, I'm not gonna say ugly because it's a collective effort, but the fact that header from Mackay trickled in. I didn't see it. That I thought it was just a normal goal looking at the match, but looking at it now, that's even more poor than I thought it was.
Yeah, fair. Ugly Robbie.
my ugly is that defending. I know you've kind of just touched on it for back the ball trickling. My ugly is the fact that we've got a 3 against 4 in our own box.
My ugly is Andrew Shooting and Dan Mackay.
Both of them. I've literally just spent this whole podcast looking at a picture of him shooting us as well.
Aye.
Disgusting. Good
Right.
Melbourne, by the way.
Ugly Ramsay. Plenty to choose from.
Yeah, I know there's bloody loads.
Attendance.
I'm
last
gonna
night.
go with the fact that after it went 2-2, we just
We held on for the point.
it's so bad.
Aye.
It's just so poor.
We subbed
those
off
substitutions.
Danda and Murray to sit in for a point.
It's. I know people are saying a point for us, a draw for us is better than a draw for them. I don't think that's necessarily true. I just think it was so uninspiring to watch us hold on for a point against Livingston. I don't care if it's away from home. For a team like them to be so far behind at this point in the season, we should have been going for the win there, and it's just I felt so flat and deflated after that game. I know we all did. It's just, oh my god.
Aye. Well, good bug ugly returns for another week. Thanks, chaps.
So
Brilliant.
what are we doing next? Are we doing St Johnston or are we doing Tweet of the Week?
We'll do
We'll,
St
she'll
Johnston.
touch on St Johnston.
Aye, we'll do St Johnston. We'll do a lineup.
All right, should we just? So St Johnston are a team who have had something of a renaissance under Craig Levine.
To an extent, aye.
They're not fully out of it yet. I think we've got a game in hand on them. If we beat them, we'll go a point above them on 22 points, and we'll still have that game in hand.
They've not won a game in their last 6. They've picked up 3 points in their last 6. Drew 0-0 with Livy. 1-1 with Aberdeen and 1-1 with Motherwell. Last time they won a game, they beat Hibs 1-0. Doing all right. Obviously they've beaten us this season already. We were all there. It was dire straits from ourselves and what turned out to be Malky Mackay's last game at the club. How would you, fellas, match the confidence levels heading into that one compared to heading into this one?
Well, the thing is, right. Well, I thought we'd do well against Livy, but it was like tentative because I knew that if we dropped the levels, it was just going to be like the same as we always see with County this season. But after watching that, I am shitting myself. I'm bricking it. Yeah. We're at home. You'd like to think that'll count for something, but let's face it, we've been dross home and away all season.
We've probably been worse at home than we have away, haven't we?
Well, we could see
probably
it'll
not.
be very equal.
Yeah.
Probably won about 2 games each.
Yeah.
I am not feeling good for this one. And I feel like I've said that every week, I'm not feeling good for this game, but this truly feels like I knew we were in a relegation battle, but it's starting to set in, like the feeling of having another playoff, the feeling when we went straight down last time. It's all starting to come back to me. Just that relegation feeling, that uncertainty, that.
Got big enough bottle of water there, by the way. How many litres is that?
2.
Not bad.
Got to keep hydrated.
Aye. Is that your shower for the day, is it?
Started replacing all my tears from last night.
Oh dear.
Yeah, I think I'm same boat as yourself, Ramsay. Not confident but nervous. I think. God forbid if we come out the other end of Saturday having lost.
Won't be looking good.
I think we are kind of stranded a wee bit. I'm not threatened by Livingston. I touch wood, don't think that they'll have enough in the tank to overturn this deficit.
Livingston are down. Livingston are useless. We were bad yesterday, but Livingston are terrible.
Do I doubt the ability in ourselves to be able to get out of 11th spot? Yes, sadly I do. And after watching last night, yeah, okay, attacking wise we were good. Take Simon Murray out of the equation, we're a bit lost. Defensively, as I said, we're looking frail. So I think, as a culmination, as a whole, St Johnstone will be looking at this one and they'll be gunning for a win, I think.
Agreed.
Should we get on with this lineup?
Sure. So
Aye.
Back to front, I think it's safe to say that Adams is not going to drop Wickens now.
Well,
maybe after that.
What are we doing here?
Yeah, but Adams is loyal to his men.
What are we doing here? Are we doing what Adams is going to do, or are we doing what we want?
I know, but when it's come to the keepers, I feel like we've always had a.
I think we should do what we want.
I think we should do what we want.
Staggy's view starting 11.
I think we should do individual ones, to be honest, because I know mine's going to be really different from yours.
Okay, all right. Fair enough.
So
why don't you kick us off?
Oh well, I'm Robbie. I will kick you off.
Come on then.
So for me, this is just to clarify. This is the Peter Mackay starting lineup for Saturday's match against St Johnstone. This is not what I think Derek Adams will play. This is not a collective Staggy's U lineup. I feel like I've just written in my bio, all views my own and not those of my employer. So for me, Wickens has made a great impression. However, after watching that goal there, I'm gonna go back to Ross Laidlaw on goals.
Understandable.
He's a man I love.
I think there's good competition there, and I think I would be happy enough if it started to interchange this season. If we were going maybe not game about, but I think they're both deserving to play. But I would tip Laidlaw for this game.
Okay, are we going? Is this just Peter Mackay's lineup?
No,
we'll go. Or are we going round?
Aye,
Okay,
we'll go goalie each.
Well, you have well and truly called me out here because I started to say, oh, Derek Adams is going to do this, Derek Adams is going to do that. Listen, if it was my team, I would be playing Laidlaw, but even though I'm going to say Laidlaw for my team, I can't stress enough how much I don't think Derek Adams is going to change the keeper again
No,
this year.
I agree. Yeah, probably not.
So
I would love it if they both played, because I think Wickens is genuinely class and has a big future. But Laidlaw is Ross Laidlaw.
Well said.
Yeah.
I would pick Laidlaw, but he's going to pick Wickens.
Yeah. I think that's pretty nailed on.
Yeah, fair enough.
Formations, boys?
I've got a 4-4-2 in front of me.
Robbie?
It's a bit open, but I just don't see what.
I think I'd be keeping the 4-5-1.
Oh, wow. I'm not doing that.
Well, actually,
3-5-2, is it?
5-2-1-2.
I wanna come back to something I said before the Celtic game. Is that Robbie? We've had big arguments over formations before, but I was gonna
You did say this, yeah.
I'd be going back to a back three. I think we all said Derek
You
Adams.
just said 4-4-2.
Well, I know.
Yeah, actually, you did
You're
just say
arguing
that.
with yourself now, then.
But I forgot that I'd said this.
So you changed your mind?
I'm a shambles. No, I've still got a 4-4-2 in front of me.
Yeah, okay.
But just something I said before the Celtic game is that Derek Adams started his third spell at County with a back three, and we played well with it. And we all thought it was going to be a transition to Derek Adams' preferred style of football with a back four.
It's not worked.
It's gone to a back four. It's not worked. I think we just had to go back to what was working before, which was a back three.
Let's be honest, we've been shite at the back. What could improve that? An extra defender.
Yeah, the problem is that all our defenders are injured.
Injured, yeah.
Nah, I've got something
All right.
worked out.
You know what, Pete? I'm just going to let you cook for this one.
Yeah,
Go
let
ahead.
me cook my back five. Okay. So we've got Cameron Borthwick-Jackson on the left of a back three.
Oh my word.
Right, hear me out. Okay.
That's already not getting picked.
I think he's been good enough defensively, and I think when you're playing him,
talked about how Daniel Mackay
when you're-
played him off the park.
when you're playing him in a back five on the left of a three, he's not going to be left isolated 1v1 like that. He's going to have a player either side of him that can help him out, and I think you could easily go and double up then. When we're playing against St Johnstone, I'm assuming are also going to play a back five, which also helps. He's going to have one man to deal with, not two, like he did there against Livingston. So I think against Celtic, if he can match the levels of defensiveness, then I think we'll be fine. And I think the fact he could carry the ball out of defence would also help. In the middle, I'm going for Will Nightingale, obviously. Interestingly, took the armband off Danda last night when Danda went off. A move I wasn't expecting, really. I don't know, maybe he was just closest to him, but I thought Jordan White probably should have got it.
Agreed, but I think it's just in a rush to get off the pitch.
Yeah, it was, definitely. On the right-hand side, obviously, I'm going for Loick Ayina. So I'll leave it there before we get onto the fullbacks, lads.
Well, the thing is, I like the idea of a back three, as I've just said, but we've got too many injuries, and as we've seen with Perrington, good defensive ability doesn't necessarily translate to being able to play on the left side of a three.
Did he ever play there, though, for us?
Yeah. Yeah.
Did he?
Perrington, yeah, left side
I think
of a
so,
three.
yeah. Don't remember.
And
I
I
couldn't
never
tell you
thought-
what game, but
I never thought he looked that convincing there.
I don't remember him playing there
If
at all, to be honest
if we
with you.
had the personnel available, I'd be going with a three, no questions asked. But I'm not convinced. I think Borthwick-Jackson is the best defensive left back we have at the club, and it could be about taking a risk and playing him on the left of a three, but I'm just not too sure. So I'm actually, Robbie, you're right. I am arguing with myself actually.
Yeah, you are.
I've got a 4-4-2 in front of me, which is very attacking, and is that what we need right now? Probably not.
Who's your two centre halves, mate?
Well, Ayina and Nightingale.
Yeah.
'Cause
Lovely.
They're the only two
Robbie.
available centre backs.
I would go the same. Mine and Nightingale.
Right. I've got another area of debate.
Fullbacks.
Left wing back, Josh Reid. I think Josh Reid's been out of the team for a long while now. I think for some weird reason we've been bringing on George Harman as a winger, which is maybe would allude to my argument that he could play left wing back. Yeah, of course he could. However, I think Josh Reid is more powerful attacking wise than Harmon is. I think he's braver to take on his man, and I also think they're probably matching in terms of levels of, in terms of defensive ability. They're not too far away from each other. And I think when Josh Reid played against Kilmarnock, I thought he was a standout in that 1-0 win away from home. And I think we all know he's got the energy to get up and down that left flank and help Borthwick Jackson in that area. And on the right hand side, well, if we're assuming Connor Randall's out, then I'll have to go James Brown.
I would go right back, James Brown, and left back, I would go with Josh Reid as well.
Love that.
But I don't have Cameron Borthwick Jackson on my team.
Yeah, you don't. Why? Talk to us.
I would say that from last night, he got torn apart by Daniel Mackay, which just is not good enough.
The guy you went to school with.
Exactly. Well, I sat next to the maths exam. So if he gets torn apart, so basically what I've thought here, right?
Yeah.
Cameron Borthwick Jackson got absolutely torn about by Daniel Mackay. George Harmon got absolutely torn apart by Partick Thistle. There's one left. So, if Reid gets torn apart against St Johnstone, I don't really know what we do there. But right now, I'd go with Josh Reid. And
next week, you're going to be saying just play them all.
Next week, we'll play Ross Laidlaw left back. But that's my thought process.
I like your thinking.
So we're going same back four, but I'd swap in Reid for Borthwick Jackson.
Fair.
Well, through that discussion, I've decided that I want a 3.
This has to be a joke, man. You just leave me and Pete to do this, and you can pick your favourite at the end.
No, I'm going to go with what Pete didn't put, Borthwick Jackson, and I will go with Reid because I think Harmon.
I'm just so influential.
Harmon wasn't good against Partick. Harmon wasn't good when he came on as a sub in either of our last 2 games.
Did you have Harmon left back?
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay.
I'm not that much of a follower, Jesus Christ. But I think Josh has been desperately unlucky this season with the competition he's had. And when he's come in, he hasn't put a foot wrong. I think it's time to give him a chance to properly show what he can do.
100%.
He's a homegrown player. He's our guy.
Get some Dingwall blood in the team.
He's our guy.
Get some Highland blood in the team. That's what we're needing. Passion, heart and desire. Get us back to our roots.
Midfield
2 for me. 2 kind of sitters, if you will. Whether they're going to sit or not, that's another question. I would be going for... I would go for I'd go for Eli King, and oh gosh, in an ideal world, Connor Randall. However, we don't think that's looking very likely.
Ideal world, Randall and Allardyce.
But I'd probably go King and. I'm going to play Jenks.
I think yous are being harsh.
I'm going Jenks.
I think Jenks is the easy answer.
Ever since
Jenks
you made that Martin Woods comment, I can't get out of my head.
I know, and I robbed that off somewhere
Jenks'
else.
work rate is so much better than Woods, and I liked Martin Woods, but Jenks' work rate is
He's
so
better.
much
He's better than Latoure.
I'll go Eli King and Jenks.
Yeah, I would agree with my midfield too.
I think on Latoure had a few moments where he looked a little threatening in the first half, getting into the final third. He was played as sort of a number 10 actually.
Yeah, that was annoying though because he was making the runs to get into such good areas, and then as soon as he got into the box, he kind of didn't know what to do, and then 9 times out of 10 he ended up turning back and just passing out.
Yeah, I would agree with that, but I think because my formation is a 4-2-3-1, I think there's more leeway for a player like that in the team.
Yeah. I didn't know that was actually your formation. I thought you were going for 4-4-2, but fair enough.
No, I'd stick with the one up front.
Fair.
So yeah, go with that. What are you going for in your 2? Are you going 5-2-1-2?
Yeah.
Right.
I think King and
Chief.
No. I think
You've been talking about Jenks whole podcast, man.
no. Just because I'm backing the boy because I don't think he's anywhere near as bad as you seem.
I never once said Jenks was bad. I
Your
don't know where you've got that from.
Your tone when you speak about Jenks.
Our
is just
tone
like,
when we talk about any player is bad.
Yeah. Apart from Johan Danda.
yeah, but
And Jordan White.
I'm gonna go.
I don't think
with
Jenks.
King and Jenks.
Aye. I don't think Jenks is bad.
I
I'm not
will say
convinced
that Laturi showed some promising signs last night, more promising than anyone I think thinks. He was a bit frustrating at times, but I think we've had this conversation before. Let's face it.
Yeah. Aye. Right. Well, Jan Danda's playing in the 10 for me.
Yeah.
Simple as that. No more needs to be said. The skipper, Jan Danda, I can confirm, will skipper my team.
I would say Danda in the 10 as well,
Right. Oh, right. Right. Okay. I wasn't expecting that.
personally. I
thought you were going to play him on the left.
So did I. I thought I was going to play him on the left, but I think he's wasted out wide.
Aye.
I think we need to get... If Danda doesn't leave and he commits himself to County for the rest of the season, I think we need to get back... We need to get back to where Jan Danda is the main focus of this team. So I played a brilliant ball from the wide position to Murray yesterday, but I think that we're so lopsided when he plays. I think it's just the ball always comes down his way.
I think it gives you a bit of balance when you play him in the middle. And the fact if you give him a bit of a license to go either side,
That's exactly what I feel. I feel like whatever. That's why we tend to swap wingers quite a lot. Is because we're trying to just get young Danda a bit of space. But I think you're making it too easy to defend against him when he's hugging the touchline.
Aye. And again, I think he's quite a big fan of dropping deep to get on the ball.
Yeah.
If he's playing in the 10, it makes it easier to do that.
Yeah.
As well, that means he could drop in and ping a ball over the top.
So I would personally play Danda. Then I would go with Josh Sims out wide. I think Sims has shown enough the last couple of games that he should be getting more game time.
That's fair.
Playing a bit more. I'm always going to talk about his lack of pace, but I think he's been good on the ball and his delivery's been decent. So I would give Sims a run out. And then you're kind of talking between Keela, who I don't think I've seen enough of yet. I would say against Celtic he looked pretty good. Against Livy he looked pretty bad. But probably Keela. I would love to say Jay Henderson.
You could do something else.
What else would you do?
Well, you could play Sai out wide.
Nah.
Let's think about the goals he scored last night. Both came from wide positions, didn't they?
Simon Murray's starting striker. I
think Jordan White has got to play.
I completely agree.
I would play
especially against
Simon Murray
against that massive St Johnstone back three. You need someone who's going to be able to knock the ball down.
I think if we resort to hoofball tomorrow, we're done.
I'm not saying we should resort to.
Yeah, no, but that's what's going to happen.
I think
that's what always happens with White's up front.
It's what happens anyway.
Nah.
I think
I'm not saying that's no fault of White. I think White does well with it, but we
Inevitably-
always resort to that. And the last time we played against St Johnstone, White must have given them away 60 fouls.
That's not his
no
fault.
of his own,
Yeah,
but that's just what's going to happen.
I think regardless, we always default to shelling it up, and if we're gonna do that, I'd rather have White.
I think I would go Henderson. I am going.
Aye, that's fair.
I think I'm going
like that.
Henderson and Sims out wide.
I like that because
Jan
Henderson
Danda in behind
needs
Murray.
to get more minutes. So
And then I'm assuming you two are going Murray and White up top.
Murray and White up top, 100%. Yeah.
If I were playing a 4-2-3-1, I'd put Henderson and Murray out wide and White up top. That way,
No Sims.
I think it is harsh. He did put in a really good performance against Celtic, less so against Livy, but he did put that cross in for the second goal.
Could Josh Sims do a job at right wing back? That's a question I'm posing now.
He did it.
No, he's too slow. He's too slow. You can't rely on a player like that wing back. It's harsh, but it's just like you need a player who can get back and defend.
Aye.
And we struggle to do that enough with the fullbacks we've got, let alone a winger and wing back.
He's not a bad defender for a winger. In a moment of desperation, we did it at the playoff final, but it's not something I'd be keen to do over the 90 minutes.
Yeah.
So Staggy's view line up because Ramsay completely copied Peter. I guess is read it out again.
Okay. So we've got Ross Laidlaw in goals. A back five, switching it back up. So Josh Reid and James Brown and wing backs. Nightingale and Ayina keeping their place in the team, and Borthwick Jackson moving back slightly to a centre half role. King and Jenks, God save our King, in the middle of the pitch. Jan Danda in the 10, of course, and Simon Murray after 2 cracking goals, and joined by the big man Jordan White. That is my team.
I think that's a Staggy's view team. No.
Right, I'm happy with that.
It's a decent team, yeah.
I still think my team would beat it in a game of football.
Don't
But
know,
we'll go with that. Score predictions quickly.
Oh God.
0-0.
Brilliant. I'd go 0-0. I'd take a 0-0.
1-0.
Lovely.
Brilliant. You actually said 0-0 as well.
Yeah.
He's just copying.
Nah, I would say. Nah, I actually do think we'll concede. So 1-0 St Johnstone.
Amazing.
Tweet of the week. Let's end on a high.
Yes, we shall. We
Depends
shall.
how funny these tweets are.
Aye,
Do you want to
that's true.
kick us off, Ramsay?
Well, I can't steal the one that Pete Bagsied, so I'm gonna get Pete to go first.
No, well, surely we should do our ones first because Pete's obviously won.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna go with it's a Derek Adams quote, so it's not technically probably a tweet of the week, but it's that funny that I think I have to.
Right.
It looks like it's highly unlikely his Hearts have said that they have no money.
Yeah.
And you know what? Maybe not even that, but the reaction of Hearts fans to it.
Good.
Just absolute meltdown.
Good shithousery from Adams.
Complete and total meltdown. If you want a little laugh, then go through the quote tweets on that.
Quickly, though, see if Hearts come in tomorrow and buy him.
Aye.
That's gonna
That's a
gonna come back to
suckable
bite-
offence.
That's gonna come back to bite him, isn't it? He's gonna get absolutely slaughtered.
That's if he doesn't get that enough.
I know, but man doesn't care. The boy does not care one bit.
Nah.
Mine is. It's a bit rubbish, but it's from a Cali fan, so you can't expect anything too funny. Mine's from @Ryan Walker.
Oh no.
0602. This is allusion to our player, Alex Samuel,
Yeah.
who've obviously loaned out to the reserves for the rest of the season.
Aye.
Getting 3 goals in 9 minutes of his debut. Still couldn't make Ryan Walker happy, who said, everyone seems to forget that he'll be playing for Ross County next season. Rat emoji. That was quite good.
That's decent, that.
Gave me a little smile that reminded me that he's still coming, but no matter how good he does, he's still coming back to us.
Yeah. I actually, it's quite funny. I saw a Cali fan someone saying, "Oh, offer him a pre-contract now." Oh, he's got another year left on his deal.
Got another year at County, mate.
Yeah.
That probably cheered me up from
Aye.
his heroics.
Aye, that's a good one. Anyway, I'll get on to the tweet of the week from good friend of the podcast and friend of the buffet, Gordy Bryce. Obviously, it was been a bit of scandal in King Craig Wildlife Park. They have announced that the macaque monkey has escaped from their shackles and it's running wild in the Highlands. Could be anywhere. It's to be feared. But nevertheless, there was one man out hunting it, and that man's name was Derek Adams. And this tweet from Gordy Bryce says, "Ross County have signed the escaped monkey on a 6-month loan."
That's such a good tweet.
Superb tweet.
Takes us over our loan quota.
He's a free agent.
Oh,
You reckon he'd probably have kept that goal out last night?
oh jeez.
Fantastic, eh?
On that note,
Well, there's one more thing to talk about.
What a lengthy podcast.
It won't take long. Just say we've got a special episode coming out with
Sorry.
Andrew Henderson, a good friend Andrew Henderson. In the next couple of days, look out for that.
probably should have promoted this before everyone turned off.
Aye. Nah, we're going to set the podcast, so it's fine.
Yeah.
Right. Well,
But you can expect a little collaboration, so keep your eyes peeled
Stay
for that
tuned.
one. Yeah.
All right.
We're looking forward to recording that one tonight, aren't we, Ramsay?
very much so.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you boys for joining me.
Well, I'd rather we
Wish I
didn't.
wasn't, but
It's quite a depressing hour and 37 minutes, but nonetheless,
It's good to talk.
it's good to be back in
good
the
to
studio.
vent.
I
good to
think I'm in a worse mood for recording this podcast than I would be otherwise.
Nah, I think I've got everything off my chest, I think.
Damn. Let's
Mona
go.
County!
Tony Macaroni.
It at least says.
Tony Mac.
Thanks for listening, Modern Staggies.
Don't forget to follow us on social media.
Get some questions in.
@StaggiesU. Well, you can't have a go at them this week. We didn't tweet anything.
They still could just message us anyway.
That's true. Anyway, sorry, Ramsay. I'll let you do your outro properly now.
Thanks
That
for
was
listening.
it, no?
Just double down.
Thanks for listening. Come on, the Staggies.